The night was set for a clash of generations, a battle that carried not only the weight of pride, but also the essence of legacy. In one corner stood Jesse "Bam" Rodriguez, the young American star, hailed as one of the most talented rising fighters in the world. His speed, sharp angles, and fearless attitude had made him a force to watch. But tonight, he faced the biggest test of his career. Across the ring was none other than Juan Francisco "El Gallo" Estrada, the Mexican legend, a fighter whose resume spoke of wars against the best, whose name was etched into the history of the lower weight divisions. Estrada represented experience, grit, and the kind of ring IQ only carved through battles with elite champions. For Rodriguez, this wasn't just another fight. It was an opportunity to announce himself as the new king. For Estrada, it was a chance to remind the world that age and miles on the clock meant nothing in the face of experience and heart. The tension in the arena was palpable. Fans knew this was no ordinary contest. It was youth versus experience, speed versus craft, destiny versus legacy. As the ring announcer's voice echoed, introducing both warriors, the crowd roared. Mexico versus USA, legend versus rising star. The referee brought them to the center, their eyes locked. Rodriguez bounced with youthful energy, Estrada's gaze calm but burning with determination. The bell rang, and in that instant, the story began to unfold. Would the young lion seize the throne, or would the veteran prove that greatness cannot be dethroned so easily? The fight of destiny was underway. The first round began with Rodriguez showing exactly why fans call him Bam. He darted in and out, firing crisp combinations with blistering speed. His youth was on full display. Every jab snapped like lightning. Every step created angles Estrada struggled to adjust to. The American looked fearless, unbothered by Estrada's reputation. But if Rodriguez was the storm, Estrada was the calm in its center. The Mexican legend didn't rush, didn't panic. He stalked with patience, studying, reading, waiting for his moment. Every feint, every step was measured. He had been in wars with men who tried to overwhelm him before, and he knew one truth: storms pass. Still, the pace was ferocious. Rodriguez's gloves were a blur, peppering Estrada with shots to the head and body. The crowd roared with every clean connection, feeling the energy of a new star rising. For a moment, it seemed like Estrada was already being pushed back, forced to absorb punishment he couldn't answer. But just as Rodriguez surged, Estrada reminded the young lion who he was. Near the end of the round, he timed a perfect counter, an overhand right that cracked against Rodriguez's jaw. The crowd gasped as Rodriguez stumbled back for the briefest second. Suddenly, the fight wasn't just one-sided youth versus age. Estrada had shown his claws. The bell rang, and both men returned to their corners. Rodriguez had dominated much of the action, but Estrada had landed the single most dangerous shot of the round. The suspense was real. Would the youngster's speed continue to drown the veteran, or was Estrada just warming up? Rounds 2 through 4 became a tense chess match in the middle of a storm. Rodriguez kept up the volume, throwing fast, sharp punches, piling up points. His body shots thudded, his left hand split Estrada's guard, his speed almost overwhelming. It looked like the young fighter was pulling away. But Estrada was not a man to be broken easily. Slowly, deliberately, he began adjusting. He slipped more shots, began jabbing to disrupt Rodriguez's rhythm, and most importantly, he started landing those punishing counters. Every time Rodriguez stepped in just a little too recklessly, Estrada met him with a crisp right hand or a hook that stopped him in his tracks. By round 4, the atmosphere had shifted. The crowd, once chanting for Rodriguez's brilliance, began holding their breath every time Estrada threw. The veteran had found his timing, and timing can neutralize speed. The suspense grew. Rodriguez would land flurries, forcing Estrada to the ropes. But just when it seemed the younger man was taking over, Estrada would explode with a vicious three-punch counter that turned the momentum. It was becoming a dangerous dance, youth pushing forward, experience striking back. Rodriguez's corner urged him not to get reckless, but the energy of youth is hard to cage. He wanted to prove himself, to make a statement, and Estrada, calm and collected, was waiting for exactly that moment. As round 5 loomed, the fight teetered on the edge. Would Rodriguez overwhelm Estrada with sheer speed, or would the veteran lure him into the trap that so many before had fallen into? The middle rounds were pure war. Rodriguez came forward with relentless energy, throwing dazzling combinations, his punches echoing like gunfire. He looked unstoppable, a fighter determined to put on the performance of his life. But Estrada, true to his reputation, refused to bow. He absorbed the punishment, rolled with shots, and fired back with dangerous counters. His experience showed. He didn't need to throw as many punches. He just needed the right ones. And every time he landed, the sound of leather smashing against Rodriguez's chin sent shivers through the crowd. By round 7, the fight had become a back-and-forth thriller. Rodriguez's volume and bodywork were slowly wearing Estrada down, but Estrada's power and precision were testing Rodriguez's resolve. Both men had moments of dominance. Both men had moments of vulnerability. The fans were on their feet, screaming with every exchange. In one sequence, Rodriguez landed a lightning-fast 5-punch combination that had Estrada reeling. The crowd exploded, thinking the end was near. But Estrada, blood on his face, fired back with a brutal hook that rocked Rodriguez and silenced the cheers. It was heart-stopping drama, neither man giving an inch. The bell rang to end round 8, and both warriors trudged to their corners, battered but unbroken. The fight was balanced on a knife's edge. Everyone knew the knockout was coming. The only question was, who would deliver it first? The championship rounds arrived, and the tension was unbearable. Both men had given everything, and both were running on heart. Rodriguez, still buzzing with youthful energy, pushed forward, determined to prove that this was his night. Estrada, battered but composed, stalked him with the patience of a hunter. Round 9 began with Rodriguez unleashing another flurry. His punches came in bunches, his combinations dazzling, but Estrada absorbed them, waiting. Then, in a split second, it happened. Rodriguez lunged in with his left hand, and Estrada unleashed a perfectly timed counter right. The punch detonated like a thunderclap. Rodriguez froze, his legs buckled, and in the blink of an eye, Estrada followed with a crushing left hook. Rodriguez crashed to the canvas, the crowd erupting into chaos. The referee began the count. Rodriguez tried to rise, his body trembling, his heart refusing to quit. But the damage was done. The referee waved it off. The fight was over. Juan Francisco Estrada had done it. The legend had survived the storm, weathered the speed, and with one moment of brilliance, turned the tide. It was a knockout that would be remembered for years, a reminder that experience, timing, and heart can still conquer youth. Rodriguez sat on the stool, devastated. Yet the crowd roared with respect for both men. He had fought bravely, proved his potential, but tonight belonged to Estrada. For Estrada, it was another chapter in a legendary career. For Rodriguez, it was not the end, but the beginning of a new lesson. And for the fans, it was pure boxing magic.